This is a best of 3 in the Escape Champions League tournament. This is a 2v2 between the Heresy team and the Suomi team. I apologize in advance. I might call the Heresy team coachers. There was an announcement recently that the coachers team has been renamed Heresy and they now have a sponsor. So that's exciting stuff for Age of Empires 2. Now, I know they have a sponsor, but it's still going to be very difficult for them today because we have Suomi, aka Finland, aka Winland, up against them. And they are extremely good when it comes to team games. We have Max, one of the best players in the world, in my opinion, here. He's playing as the Mayans in the teal. And then in the blue, we have Zupi. Zupi is playing as the Spanish in the blue. Up against Zupi, we have Mateus. This guy is also known as Melkor. So if I say Melkor, I don't want you to be confused. You know now. He's playing as the Franks. And then we have Mr. Spring. And Spring is playing as the Mayans. So we have Franks and Mayans. And we have Mayans in Spanish. There are different maps that we will see in this section of the tournament, and there are different civs that they have to choose from. In between games, I can show you the civs to make it a bit easier for you, and then maybe you as viewers at home can think about, should they have chosen this civ or should they not have chosen this civ? It's obvious to me, as Roach says in the chat, that with Spanish and Mayans, Suomi wants to get castles up. They want to use their unique units. Did I say Suomi and Mayans or Spanish and Mayans? I don't know. I'm getting warmed up today. Spanish, you usually wouldn't pick them unless you're going to go scouts into archers or scouts into walls and then a castle and conquistadors. So I'm interested to see how this plays out. This map is called Gorge. And, well, surprise, surprise, there's a gorge here. And there's tons of stone there. So this is quite interesting, actually. This is the first time I've seen this map and actually casted it. You see how there's no stone around the player's TCs? So if you want to get a castle up, you need to go into the gorge, which is extremely risky, I feel. Obviously, the Finland's players are confident enough with that. I just wonder how they will secure that area. We'll find out soon enough. Now, you could just go straight archers if you're Mayans. You don't have to go plumes. You don't have to take that risk. There are plenty of gold piles that can be walled in for Max here. The wall in the front. I don't know. There are options. But it's a cool map. I like it. You know, if this was a community game map, this would all be water. And we'd see a lot of demos. But I don't think we'll see that. I believe you can dock here. But you cannot send the Navy over top the land. There's only a few areas you can hit. If this goes super late game, you could send villagers forward, get supremacy with your Spanish vills, send vills forward, dock and make some cannon galleons. Dock and kill the trade with cannon galleons. Be an interesting idea. So far, so good for these teams. I'd really like to see Heresy do well. It is going to be tough for them. They are one of 2 teams in the top 8 that are playing here that just missing a little bit of something, but they have potential. I would say that the Heresy team and Vietnam Legends, they have the skill. They're just... Oh, goodness, Zupi. They're good players. They're just not quite up to the skill of the other players and the other teams. So to those here in my Twitch chat, to every sub here today, every resub, every dono, whatever that may be, any alert, it is on silence. So the alert will still show up. However, it will not read out. I will read it out in between games. During big tournaments, it's important for me that I'm focusing primarily on the games. I don't want there to be quite as many distractions. Oh, look at this. An eagle from Spring getting in here just at the right time. He will not kill Max's villager, but this at least delays Max's walls. And now Spring will just run away. Smart thinking. And Spring is drushing. Okay, so already we see a big difference in strategy between the Mayan players on the left-hand side. Max is trying to full wall this one. And here come the militia. And the militia should stop the wall off. This is great for the Heresy team. Walls for Mateus going up, and he might be fast castling this in all honesty, guys. And going to 2 lumber camps. He'll be on 24 pop. I think we are seeing a fast castle as well from Zupi. Who, they're taking the stone here. Gotcha. So I think both of the Finland's players are trying to go for a fast castle. But the walls for Max being delayed, this is a big deal. Spring's going to kill a villager. Look at this play. He's blocking the Vil with the Eagle, and he kills it, and still this is wide open for Max. He has no form of military to defend, so he will not get the, well, okay, maybe T90 Babe there. Maybe that chick will sneak over there and finish it off, but still, this is not ideal. You don't want this idle time. You do not want to have your walls delayed. So the Drush was kind of a risk here. You could have easily ran into walls, but because of how active Spring's Eagle was, he's able to get in here. And that's a good Drush for him. And he is going Drush into Drush Fast Castle, I assume. Though, you'll notice Spring has not gone to stone, so he will not go for plumes as far as I know. So the game plan for the Finland's players is pretty obvious. Zupi should get to Conquistadors. We'll see about Max. I imagine Max will get his castle up, but he's trying to deal with this. See, that's 6 villagers that was just idled, not collecting food. Here, 3 lumberjacks that are not collecting wood. This all adds up, and that is the purpose of a drush. So, to the mods that are here in the stream, if we could either delete the map commands or just keep up with it today, that'd be great. I know that these guys are not paid employees, right? So you don't have to be here all day, of course, but you can just delete the commands, honestly, unless one of you is going to be here all day to keep up with it, because otherwise it'll just confuse people. I always tell my mods they're not obligated to stick around. They're just people who also enjoy the stream, just like all of you. So Max was down some sheep. Look at this. He didn't have the sheep. He, funny enough, can't send the sheep back because of Spring's militia. This is not a good FC for him. This is not a good fast castle for him. His feudal age is later than everyone. And he doesn't have the food just yet. And I'm sure he'll get there, but it's quite late. And Spring is going to be in the castle age faster. And I do think Spring will make an archer range, but we will see. Mateus clicks up to castle age first. And he will be going knight, surprise, surprise, with Franks. He loves his horse civilizations. Zupi and Max a bit slow with their times. So all the walling may be hurting them. This is not what I would have expected. I've watched these guys play a lot. Max just needs to get his blacksmith up, and then he will click up. But you can see his build is definitely off. He is 500 stone now, before he clicks up to castle age. Normally you'd be at around 300 or 400, and then when you hit castle age, you have just enough for a castle. But he couldn't balance it as much as he would like. So what my vision is for my Twitch channel is that we don't need a lot of commands. I know that other Twitch streams have commands where people type !map and it gives you the answer on the map. But what I want is for the person that's used to typing !map, I want that person to say, hey guys, what's the map? Communicate. Talk. Community oriented, right? So, hey guys, what's the map? Can you help me out? I forget what the name of the map is. Can you guys help me? What is it? Yo, is no one answering? Pilgrims? Maybe we need commands. There we go. There we go. Props, thank you guys. So 2 stables for Mateus. Spring, he's going with crossbows. So he will have military before Max. It's just down to if Max will have the time. And I think Max will have the time. He's now stonewalling up. Somewhere in Sweden, Fatslav is smiling. And he should be able to get the castle up. Where do they build it? I think you have to build it at home, right? You can't really build it in this gorge. He's going to build it on the front, most likely. Okay, so he builds it there. And then Zupi builds it here. So in terms of overall strength, the Conquistadors and the Plumed Archers will be better than the Knights and the Crossbows. So the Finland players, it's been a little bit rough for them, but it's certainly fine now. And they're just going to hold with their walls, and now they're running back into their base as they should. And I don't think they're really exposed. It's almost as if the Finland team thought about the fact that there will be a lot of walling on this map, and so they didn't go for a Knight Civ. While as Spring and Mateus, they thought, well, we want that melee with the Knights and ranged with the Archer combo, which is standard in 2v2s, but maybe that's not the way to play on this map. Because here comes the 2v1, Mateus has the mobility, he's on his way in, and he'll just see a castle soon. Yeah. Now they could attack this stone wall, but even then, before you know it, Max will have enough plumes to hold. So now what do they do? Fill counts are dead even across the board. Lots of TCs being placed. This will likely go late game. And Spring, he's not on any stone. So he is sticking with crossbows. And, you know, the more I think about it now, the more I think that this is going to hurt for the Heresy team. Because plumes are better than the crossbow route. Much stronger than the crossbow route. Much more mobile, which will also be important. Now, Knights, that could still work out, of course. But he just can't get in here. There's only 4 conquistadors for Zupi, but he's house-walled behind here wisely, knowing that Mateus is looking for a way in. Now he runs into the houses, and he just continues to attack those houses, and the conquistadors will run over behind the houses and shoot the Knights, and it will force Mateus back. I will say, economically, Zupi and Max, they've done a great job. They have more villagers already. But will the Heresy team be able to get through? I think Max is needed here. Max needs to help Zupi out. The house is going to go down. Spring with Bodcanero now. He will be able to range the conks. And here come the Plumed Archers. See, the Plumed Archers, they don't have a lot of upgrades yet. That's because Max has opted to go for more economy first. Because they want to be stronger later on in this game, but that is a risk. Luckily for Zupi, his TCs seem to be protecting most of this area, but he will need to garrison some vills. And I don't think that the Heresy team can send reinforcements now. They might consider running back here. Do you want to stay here? Because there's really no way out. The new reinforcements are getting killed by the plumes. Actually, I say getting killed. Max didn't micro and he doesn't have Bodkin, so not really. And okay, they're forcing idle time. They're underneath the TC. 1 villager goes down. It's actually 2 villagers, 3 villagers that has died here for Zupi. So now Mateus has more villagers than Zupi. And Zupi has a lot of idle time. So here come the Plumed Archers. And with Bodcanero, I think this will eventually end for the American players. But goodness, the value! Spring's crossbow micro has been so good as well. Look at that. Another 3 villagers down. The aggression has paid off. So I would say this is a shock. This would be an upset if Heresy were to win the best of 3. And they've done a hell of a job so far in game 1. Zupi is really struggling now. More villagers going down. And this is on top of all the idle time he's had. Wow. And the Knights are still here. The Knights are still running around. I'm not sure why Max ran. Where's he going? Does he want to cut off the reinforcements? What on earth is happening here? +2 defense coming in. Mateus is just wrecking Zupi. Zupi doesn't know where to go. He's losing villagers here and here now. It will not stop. Wow. So they need to wall this up. And what it came down to was Mateus and Spring were going to have more military in early Castle Age because they didn't need the castles for it. If they were walled out, then eventually the Finland's players would have been stronger. But I don't know about that now. I don't know about that. Zupi's way behind. And I'll be honest, he's been thrown off a little bit. He's also been sloppy because these villagers just keep running to their death. But look at that KD for Spring. Look at that KD for Mateus. It's been incredibly strong. And here comes Spring again. Zupi is repairing these houses. And if Spring gets here... Max, his plumes aren't even fighting. Oh my god. What is happening? I'm so surprised by this. I did not wake up this morning and expect to see Finland's getting wrecked by Heresy. This is insane. They kill another villager. The house will go down and they will come in with another batch of units. This is a dominant display. This is one of those games that if Spring was Viper and Mateus was Slam, everyone would be like, oh my god! Secret is so good! So dominant! But since it's Heresy, we're just like, what? What is happening here? Really good display. And, you know, now Spring is on stone, so he could still go for plumes. Max is unable to pressure Spring at all, so the fact that Spring doesn't have a castle at home defensively isn't an issue, because Max can't afford to go forward. And, geez, 32 deaths for Zupi. This is just insane. And Spring loves his crossbow micro. Again, picking off villagers. You know, he went for early ballistics. He went for 2 archer ranges. And man, has that risk paid off. It's almost like Zupi doesn't want his villagers. He's 20 vills behind everyone. Max, he's known for carrying in these situations. He's needed. And with the Frank Knights constantly on top of Zupi, I really don't see how Zupi's going to be able to get back into this anytime soon. And you got to give a lot of credit to Mateus for how he's been moving his knights around as well. There's a lot of small things that he's doing that I can't really touch on. You know, making sure the wall off doesn't happen. Focusing on the monks now, and he will kill them. And Spring is just picking off vills. I'm surprised. I am really surprised by this. But I'm really happy about it as well. Because, again, as I said, I think Spring and Mateus, they have this skill. But they haven't played together as long as the Finland guys have. They haven't performed all that well, despite having this skill. And I've been listening to these two talking on TeamSpeak a lot recently. On their streams. It's interesting to see what their dynamic is like. Alright, Max clicks up to the Imperial Age. It's going to come down to if Max can carry. Max has 1 castle. He will build a 2nd. He will get all of his upgrades first. And Spring's... Oh, wow, this is going to be interesting. Spring, he's not even close. Not even close to clicking up to Imp. And that's because of the aggression he's gone for. Now, Mateus is certainly pretty close. I think he could click up soon. And obviously, Zupi, he's not going to be in the Imperial Age anytime soon either. I just wonder who they pressure next. Assuming that Melkor clicks up to the Imperial Age soon, do they just go with the Cavalier or Paladins right to Max? I don't know. They're doing a good job. I think that because Max has clicked up to Imp so early, he doesn't have quite as many military numbers. So they could actually... They could start killing TCs in Zupi's base soon, if they're not careful. Because look at all the knights coming in. And Melkor does click up to Imp. And this is not the first time that he's cut off Max from helping his ally. Spring's getting Thumb Ring. Guess the question will be, is that an upgrade that you need right now? Because it's quite expensive, and he's having some food issues, so... I don't know about that, but he is going to be on his 2nd castle. That will certainly make his crossbows even stronger. Wilher says, T90, thank you for speaking the way you do. English is not my native language, but I'm able to understand you while still learning. Well, joke's on you, man. I've been speaking incorrect English for the last 3 years. So anytime you speak English to your friends, you're not speaking it correctly. It was just a trick. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm, of course, kidding. You're welcome, man. You're welcome. All these native English speakers are like, what? He's been tricking me? What? My whole life is a lie? Alright, Max gets Bodkin Arrow, and he'll clean up the crossbows. And this is the moment. This is the moment where Spring and Melkor need to be careful. Spring arrives with some plumes of his own and some crossbows. He does not have bracer. And the knights are not cavalier yet. I don't know if you want to fight this uphill. I think you need to pull back. This is where you take advantage of the cheap Frank castles. You start building castles on all the hills. You see like Spring is. And you have to secure trade as well. So you need to get your corner and you need to start adding markets. Since they have the advantage, Heresy, they can actually afford to trade right now. It's not a risk. Whereas the Finland players, they can't do so really. They can try, but of course it will be awkward with all the military from the opponents here. If there is one player in the game who can hold in a situation like this, well, I'd say there's probably two. Three. I take that back. Three. There's Viper, there's Leary, and there's Max. Those are the only three players I think that could bring it back for their team. And Max, he has good population. They have added markets. They are starting to trade. He's getting coinage. So what he will do here in a second is he will start sending all of the food that he has over to Zupi. Because he's just making plumed archers, which is gold and wood. And the trade's right there, guys. The trade is right there. But they need to do it. They need to do it. So Spring will stick with plumes. Mateus will, of course, go for the Frank Paladins. And I think he's about to click that Paladin upgrade as we speak. Now he's taking a great fight there. They'll clean up so many plumed archers. Spring needs to stop. Great positioning from Melkor's Paladins. Also, let's keep in mind that the Finland's players will have Spanish trade, so they get a little bit more gold per trip. And that will help them get back into this game, potentially. It's also interesting that the markets can be in the corners for the Heresy team, and because of this wood line, that's not the case for the Finland team. So they are getting slightly less gold, I guess. That's not a good fight for Spring. A little bit of miscommunication there. That is not what they need right now. The Spring needs to wait for his upgrades before he takes these fights. And look at all those dead bodies. Max, his KD is looking good now. He has the most kills in the game. 76 kills, 38 deaths. Guys, he is on 3 castles. Before you know, it will be 4. Zupi is researching Cavalier. This game is not over. And Spring is trying to place a castle there. Max, just as he slings resources to Zupi, he sees this. And I don't think he'll deny it, but he will kill a lot of villagers. And he's going to trade versus Spring's army. So, I do think now that Spring, with Thumbring and a few of the upgrades he went for, was maybe a bit too much. Because his Imperial Age was slower. Here comes Mateus, though. Mateus loops around. That was definitely a surprise. And this engagement is good. That's a very good fight. Max can't get his plumes through. Well done yet again. Paladin is on the way for Mateus as well. And this is just as Zupi is finishing the Cavalier upgrade. So still the Finland players are behind. And that was not good. Max needed to hold his numbers. Now this could easily be a long game because there are hill advantages in Age of Empires. So Max, despite being behind, he will have an advantage holding his hill. Spring's Trebuchet wanted to be a plumed archer, apparently. And, well, that's why you were a Trebuchet. You just would have died. And Paladin's on the way for Zupi now as well. This game is not over, guys. They just have to get Zupi back into this. And Max, he signals and says, "They're coming to you, my friend. They're coming to you. I'm coming to help." But Zupi's stonewalled. It's just that this is very open. And the Cavaliers are going right into the trade line. They could go right into the economy as well. Good. Kill every trade cart you can. This will also give Spring an opportunity to push forward. So Max has to hold his hill with very little military. As Spring starts trebbing him down. And can the Heresy team finish off the game here? They will kill villagers. They will kill trade. I don't think this will be enough, but it will definitely help the next wave. Because here comes Melkor. And Melkor is sending more paladins through. Max is trying to build a castle here. That could be denied. So many paladins. Zupi, he doesn't have his own paladins yet. What a game one for Heresy. Spring repairing his castles in the center. He's actually not attacking Max's castles. He's attacking Max's Treb. So Spring's at a disadvantage here. And he's going to lose both of his castles at this rate. Melkor's chasing the trade down. And Max really needs to get his plumed archers there to have something ranged. The castle was denied. They need to just push up the middle now. Spring's in trouble because he lost those castles. But he's still okay. I think that leaves him with 6, right? So... really not the end of the world. They need to get the plumes in the trade. Here come the plumes from Spring. If Melkor can get enough paladins on top of Max's plumes, which he's going for now, then Spring can run right into the trade and we might see the GG because there's very little gold left on this map. Spring has probably patrolled here and he patrolled into the mining camps. This is a position to run forward if you're Spring. I'm sure he'll realize soon enough. He's also, he is able to kill some trade while he's here, I guess. He should probably split his group up. But, hey, look at this. He kills Max's castle. I think Finland is done for in game 1. I don't see any way back. I don't see the paladins from Zupi doing anything. I see very few of them. And, yeah, they're just chasing down some random paladins from Melkor. And here comes Spring. And they have no response to this. The GG's going to be called. This is going to be it. How are they going to fight this back if they don't have gold? They can barely fight it back with some gold. That's got to be the game there. Max is going to lose his trebuchets. Everything's falling apart. And Heresy is going to take game 1. I hate to call it early, but I think it's pretty obvious right now. Wow. And you can tell Finland, maybe they're surprised. They don't want to give it up. But I think they have to now. Max is making some barracks, getting scale mail, maybe considering eagles or... I mean, it has to be eagles. You can't go halbs. The halbs just died to the plumes. Maybe he expected that his castles would go down. Okay, Spring... he'll lose his plumes if he stays here. And they're going to keep trying. This would be quite a comeback. It would be a strong combination of a comeback and a throw, I think, if Winlands were to win this. So there's a few things I would have liked to have seen from Spring. And it's really just how he used his plumes. Initially, I think if he had some of his plumes here and some of his plumes here, they would have killed a lot more trade. And then right in that moment, he probably should have ran. Just run further into the trade route. But I don't think it matters. I don't think Max can hold. And if you look at the trade numbers, there's such a huge lead for Melkor and Spring. The Spring is now sending gold and wood to his ally. Whoa! Mateus is just now getting conscription. What? That's quite an important upgrade so you can create the paladins faster. This guy's such a madman, he did this without conscription. Hashtag clickbait. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. This makes this best of 3 so much better. Because now the favored team will have to win 2 games in a row. Again, I am assuming that Finland will call it here. They're still trading. And you know what? Zupi has 63 paladins, so maybe I am calling it early. It's just Max now. Max doesn't have the plume numbers. That's the issue. And if you're on the Heresy team, you just need to protect your trebs. You don't need to go for trade raids now. You're pretty far into Max's base. Max only has 2 castles. He's actually buying stone as well. Which, of course, he's limited gold supply, so that's not easy to do. They have to kill the trebs. And Zupi has so many paladins. You know, can they hold this? Spring needs to attack the castle here. Spring, attack the castle. He's attacking the plumes. I don't know about that. Zupi definitely had more paladins there, but Melkor's arriving with more. And Spring, he does have 80 military. And he is whittling down the plumed archers of Max, and then he can go for the castle. They still have enough. And there's the GG. That is game number 1 in this best of 3. So guys, I'm going to toggle out real quick. We'll come back into the game. I'm going to toggle out real quick just to give you an idea of what we're going to see today. So this is the 2v2 section of the Escape Champions League tournament. Heresy was formerly coachers. You can see there on that scoreboard or on that schedule. It is Suomi and Heresy. This is a best of 3. So it's very important for teams that they not only advance for prize pool money, but if they advance, they get points for which adds up throughout this year-long event to qualify for the LAN. And in all honesty, the Heresy team, they haven't been getting a lot of points. And Suomi, they still need a little bit more, I'd say, because I think they're in the top 3 or top 4. So this is a big result. We will have 2 more games, and we'll get to that in a moment. This is a big first game for Heresy. We'll see if they can keep going. There's the KD. Mateus, such a strong player when it comes to Paladins, man. I said that yesterday on stream when he was playing Arena, and this was a completely different map, and it was a team game. And it's pretty obvious how it played out. The Castle Age decisions from Mateus and Spring worked, and I think it surprised the Finland's players. Because Max couldn't get his walls up initially, then Zupi, he was 2v1'd, and then it snowballed from there. Great game. So this whole thing will be uploaded as a best of 3 to YouTube most likely. So YouTube, hey, what's up? How you doing? Suomi is pronounced more like Sormi, not Suomi. Well, I'm going to say Suomi, but thank you. I and other casters have called them Suomi for far too long to start changing up pronunciations now. Grand, thank you very much for 4 months. He said, best ECL cast. Thank you. You're welcome, dude. Adrian, thank you for the 100 bits. Wilhel says, finally, I caught you streaming. Thank you very much for your efforts. You're welcome, dude. Thank you for the prime. Nagara, thank you for 2. Cause Chaos, thank you for the new sub. Little Zimty, thank you for 6. Sarkcell and Willis, thank you guys for the subs. Willis, that was your 3rd resub of the day, man. You're a legend. And with all the new subs, I'd like to remind you that we are, I will do a 24-hour stream if we hit 2,000 subs. Please don't hit that within the next few months, though. Can we wait till December? I don't want to hit that this month. Now, if A28 is still here, he gifted a crap ton of subs almost a month ago, so I'm kind of waiting to lose 100 subs. I'm not sure about tomorrow. I might take tomorrow off, and then Monday off, and when I return, I think we'll be down a large chunk, but it's certainly doable. I didn't make a goal that was out of reach. So I'm going to take my time. I'm going to chill out a little bit in between games because I'll be casting solo all day today. And I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm going to sip my tea. So what did you think about that, guys? Did that surprise people in the Twitch chat? Give me your thoughts, please. That was unexpected. How many Americans do I have in the chat? Can I get a 1 or a salute or a T90 woo if you're an American? I'm just curious. If you're not from America, you have to understand our team has not, our country's been having problems, okay? We have not been very dominant in the Age of Empires scene, so it is very good for us to see that win. I think about 50% of my regular audience is American nowadays. And then I think it's probably 40% American, 40% European, and then 20% other. Because we do have Australia, India as 2 big countries. What else do we have? Asia as well. I have some people who watch from Asia. I know a few viewers from Hong Kong. I forget where Blue Pill, where are you from again? I don't know if he's still there. Singapore, got it, okay. Oh yeah, South America. How did I forget about South America? Yeah, that statistic is probably way off. South America is a large chunk of my viewers as well. Alright guys, game 2 will be coming up. Game 2 will be the map Serengeti. So we'll see if Finland's can Serengeti back into this. Oh, the civs. I wanted to look at the civs, right? Can anyone link me the settings for the civs? Because I don't have too much time. I'd like to pull it up. Well, if not, it's not a huge deal. Oh, no, I found it. Okay, cool. Look at me trying to make others do work for me. So check this out. This is the Africa 2v2 stage. There's the brackets. These are the maps. And I can show you a picture of the maps again. But these are the civs they have to choose from. Wait, no they don't. This is wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to confuse you guys. We'll get the correct information out to you. It's quite complicated what goes on with this event. Like, there's so many different stages and different settings. I'll be honest, it's hard for me to remember all of it. Somo, LOS is BZK, okay? So, BZK is the new LOS, and Heresy is the new coachers. This tea is just quality. Quality. Those are correct civs. It's one from the pool, one free pick. Yeah, I was just asking. I think that the first game is free pick, and then the second game is probably from the pool. So I just didn't want to say it out loud until I was sure. But I think for the next game, they'll have to choose civs from the pool. It will be Serengeti, and they'll have Berbers, Byzantines, Ethiopians, Franks, Italians, Malians, Portuguese, Saracens, Spanish, Turks to choose from. "2v2 matches must utilize at least one of the civ pool civs each game, as long as there are no repeats." So that would mean that they cannot go for, that the Finland players can't go for Spanish again, basically. We'll see. I'm not too worried about it. This is a year-long event, so I'm okay with just starting the game, seeing what the civs are, and casting it. Once we start getting down to the final stages, a few months prior to the LAN and all of that, that's when we'll really want to pay close attention. Either you guys are ashamed or not completely honest. About what? What are we not honest about? I'm probably missing part of your conversation. Oh, about Trump. Yeah, let's not talk about politics. I don't want to talk about politics. No, thank you. You know what? When I'm casting Age of Empires, I want to talk about Age of Empires. I want to have a good time. Every time you look on social media now, people are just talking about stressful things like politics and blah, 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 blah. No, thank you. People don't come here for that. All right, guys, here we are. This is game number 2 on Serengeti. And this is, again, between Suomi, a.k.a. Finland, and Heresy, who is formerly known as Coachers. Coachers were amazing last time around. It was insane. I did not expect it. I'm not sure if Finland expected it either. This map is a lot more aggressive than the last one in early game, so we'll see what the strats will be. We have Spring in the pink this time, switching up the colors, making it difficult for the viewers, of course. He's playing as the Mongols, and then his ally is Mateus, who's playing as the Malians. Up against Mateus, we then have Zupi. Zupi is playing as the Franks, and in the teal, we have the Max. And with me, I have my favorite Canadian, T90 Dave. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, chat? How's it going?
You didn't talk.
YouTube?
You didn't talk in game 1. What's up with that, man?
I know it was. I couldn't figure out anything I wanted to say.
Ah, jeez. Well, hopefully you save some words for this one, I guess. You're gonna be doing most of the casting now, so get ready for it.
Yep.
So I saw this yesterday with some of the Discord games from our viewers here, and it's a very open map. There's not a lot of ways to protect your wood lines, and I'm really curious just how this will be played out. Maybe we can still see the scouts and archer combo that you see on Arabia, but this is going to be a tough map to I guess, protect for all the players.
Well, I mean, we've got two really good early scout civs here,
Yeah.
Mongols and Franks. So I'd be so surprised if we didn't see a ridiculous number of scouts.
Yeah, you
coming
could
out
go
of-
scouts. Also, there's one elephant, which has 400 food. And I believe there's 6. Let's see, 4 zebra. And there's ostrich. I'm seeing...
Zupi has 5 zebra and 3 ostrich.
Yeah, so it's maybe 8 total deer. So you have a bit more food than usual, and that would certainly help with scouts. I guess...
It's just so open. Like,
Yeah.
if you're picking Franks, you're going scouts, right?
Yeah, for sure. You're going scouts if you're Franks, and I'm really curious about the Heresy team because we have Malians and Mongols, both of which could go for scouts. You probably want your Mongol player to go archers because Malians late game they won't be able to, or they shouldn't be going arbalest. But I guess we'll see. Mongols would traditionally go scouts. All right, I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Go ahead. This will be a good test.
Ooh. Can you hear me now, chat?
You're pretty good. Can you say testing 1 2 3?
Nope.
Yeah, you're pretty close. You're pretty close. I think that's as close as it'll get. Okay, so Mateus and Spring already getting loom, and Spring is only at 17 population, so that means he wants to click up. He's pushed in most of his zebra. He has 5 on wood. This has got to be scouts for him, right? Oh, he's creating another vill? What? Oh, he forgot the mill. He forgot the mill.
Oh, God. Man, he's been doing that Khmer build too often.
Yep.
For USA Cup, he forgot that he needs the buildings. Oh, that's so painful in such an important game.
Well, luckily he's still Mongol, so he will be faster. But it's obvious to me that the strategy's a little bit different for the Finland's players. They're going up later to feudal age. We say later and it's still 20 pop up, which is pretty fast, but there will be a slight advantage for Heresy early on.
When they see that Matthias is up first before the Mongol player, they're going to be like, what?
Yeah. You know another thing that'd be strong on this? Man-at-Arms. And you see the barracks now from Max. He'll probably get loom after this villager, and then he'll start advancing to feudal age.
2 out to gold.
Yeah.
He's going man-at-arms. Well, I've seen Max go man-at-arms a lot, and he's really good at it. Like, he's got the build down pat.
He definitely does, and he has the civ for it for sure. He could go for more than 3, because why don't you normally invest into more than 3 men-at-arms? It's because people can wall you out. But look at these wood lines. Look at Mateus' wood line. Look at Spring's wood line. You can't really wall that, man.
Also, Mateus is like the one section of his base where he's got the 2 golds and the stone.
Yes.
All you have to do is hang around there.
Yeah.
Like, that's really important to him if you secure that area. But of course, Max doesn't know that. So.
Yeah. Zupi could maybe see it and go forward at some stage. I believe Zupi will be going for scouts. And then I guess man-at-arms into archers. So I like the compositions better. Spring is going for...
Ooh, Spring's trying to lame a Vill from Max? No. Okay.
Yeah, I heard the attack sound there. Yeah, it's just weird how the Heresy players are both going for scouts.
He's being really annoying with that scout, man.
Yeah, don't lose it. Oh!
That's such a dodge right there. Neo.
Oh, man. That's always so annoying when you're in Max's position. You're like, yes, I'm going to get him. And then, oh, just missed.
And the thing Max has to keep in mind now, he's got those 2 wounded villagers. He has to keep them close to home now.
Yeah, he does.
It's just another little thing you have to think about, right?
And Spring is doing a great job with this scout, not only being annoying, but he sees that Max has villagers on gold. Now, I don't know if he saw that there were man-at-arms coming his way, but he did wall up his wood line as best as he could. And here come the man-at-arms for Max, and they're not going to the right side. They're on the left side.
Yep. And all the players right now are trying to get walls down.
Yeah.
I like what Zupi's done. He's trying to secure the entire base rather than just walling in individual wood lines.
Yeah. Yep, definitely seems like with the compositions and the style, the Finland players are expecting to take this into Castle Age because they're not being over aggressive. Whereas when you have 2 players go scouts, that can really hurt you later on. So far, the scouts haven't really done all that much for the Heresy team. Great job from Finland.
Yeah, we'll see though. I mean, Finland's kind of on the back foot right now. Even if you go up to Castle Age faster, you never want to be stuck in your own little area, right?
Yep.
With your enemy wandering around outside.
Oh man, look at these man-at-arms. That one tree's at 20 wood. Could easily overchop this, but great awareness from Spring. Spring is also sending more scouts. Will soon have 5 right next to Max's base, and Max is just placed on lumber camp. Spring doesn't see it, but there are some villagers there that are exposed. Oh, and a spear gets whittled down?
Springs into the wood line.
Wow.
That's 1 villager at least.
Yeah, and he could even trade versus the archer. Trade versus the archer. Yes, great stuff. Spring has been playing extremely well in these games.
Man-at-arms are in, though. I think he's going to lose a villager here. He did manage to wall them out in time. So trades at either their bases.
Yeah, but
and here's Matthias.
Yeah, there's a 2v1. Max is losing another villager. He just can't get the archers going. He's going to lose 1 more. They're going to let her live.
No, she's deacon. She's deacon. She's trying to get away.
She's
gonna get away. Watch.
No, she'll die. No, you gotta kill her. Come on. You have Frank scouts. I like how she's just chilling there. She
just stood
She's
there.
not interested in running at all, and now she's dead.
And on the berries as well, he lost another
Wow.
one. Look at it. All those deaths. I think 2 of them are spearmen. So, or no, 1 spearman, 1 archer, maybe.
Yeah,
so he's lost like 5 villagers.
The problem, though, is they threw their military layer for that, and now Zupi, he's going over to Mateus' base, and now Mateus doesn't have military to hold. You don't want to create more scouts here. He lost a spear already. This is not going to be easy. These are Frank scouts from Zupi.
He just needs 1 more spear there, and he should be fine.
Yeah, 1 more maybe. And oh, the man-at-arms got into Spring's woodline as well.
No.
Oh, I see 3 villager bodies there. That's the risk. That's the risk when you try and wall in individual wood lines, as you said, Dave. It's so tough on a map like this.
This map, like, it's just, some aspects of it are just so open. Like, look at where Max is towering in the back of his base. You should never have to tower there.
Yep.
Never. But the map is extremely open. And look what Zupi's done. Speaking about open, not his base.
Yeah,
Completely
man.
walled.
Look at that. He knows how to wall. He's played Fat Slub a few times. I'm thinking about the transition here. Springs created a lot of scouts. If he doesn't do damage with these scouts, in theory, his castle time will be a lot later than the other players. Yeah, here he goes.
Is Max? He's trying to find holes in Max's base.
There's a hole. There's a hole in Spring's woodline. Max can run in there.
Okay.
There's a hole right between the houses, but he sits behind the woodline, and now Spring's in big trouble, man. He'll lose another villager. He's lost a lot of his scouts at Max's base, and this is the risk of having 2 people go scouts. 1 person could be transitioning into archers, and on the back woodline for Spring, Zupi arrives. Oh, it's all falling apart for the Heresy team.
Well, Spring lost 2 villagers there. And so both of them are behind the Finland team. They haven't kept up villager production.
Yeah. I also think that Spring lost a few more than we saw because of how aggressive this has been, you know?
Yeah. But he's in on Max's base again.
Yeah.
He's not giving up on the pressure. It's a delicate balance on how much military you keep at home and how much pressure you put forward on your enemy.
Yep, and he's sending a few archers. Let's see now. So Spring is transitioning into archers. Zupi's on the way to Castle Age for Finland. That's not a good sign for Heresy. Spring loses another villager at home, by the way. And he has quite a few idols. Zupi is coming over to help, and I think Spring's archers and scouts will do nothing. Look at Zupi's KD. 6 kills, 1 death. Very safe at home. Max has just been taking the pressure. And Zupi will probably go for more than 1 stable. It will be 2.
I don't really see a counter to the Knights from Team Heresy either.
Yeah, well,
like Zupi's super safe.
Malian camels.
Sit there.
But Mateus he's going to be behind, and You know, on Arabia, which is actually less open than this, you could maybe make a bunch of spears defensively. But I don't know if a few defensive spears would be enough. You'd need quite a few. But this is the moment to hit Max before Zupi arrives. Spring has spears. He has archers coming forward. Probably feels like they're behind. And maybe they could trade a little bit versus Max.
I like how Max went forward while he was being attacked and walled that one side. So they're forced to come across his production buildings now.
Yeah.
If they want to get into his base.
Yep. Really smart walling from Finland. And honestly, we wouldn't have seen that being a possibility in Dark Age. But that is a skill. That is a skill to see the map and know where you can wall the easiest. We have not seen that too much from I keep wanting to say coaches, the Heresy team. But as I say that, Mateus is walling up. And if he can get these walls completed before Knights arrive, then maybe he can hold a little bit longer.
Still only palisades, though. And there's hills there. Like,
yeah.
The Knights can bust through that pretty quickly.
Well, on the plus side, he has camels. And he has lots of resources. He'll hit Castle H now. Where's the first wave of Knights going to go? Is Zupi going to go right to Spring? Because if so, Spring's in trouble. Yup.
Spring's trying to... Like, if Spring can get some more buildings down, maybe, but it's not going to be in time. He's pretty compact there in that base. Maybe he could defend against it.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't over chop again, because these trees have a little bit more wood than your average tree. So as long as he doesn't over chop the right wood line, he's camping the back wood line, and his gold is kind of safe. So you're right, he might be able to hold. The problem is he's not close to clicking up. He really needs to click up soon.
Yeah. Is he going to go Cav Archers, you think?
Yeah, he's going to go very aggressive. I think he'll stay 1 TC, which is Spring style, and go crossbow into Cav Archers.
See, the walls that he made initially, like the way he made his archer ranges, it forced Zupi away.
Yeah.
And Zupi wasn't able to do damage, and now Spring has time, a little bit of time anyway.
Ooh.
But so does Max, which is something you never want to give Max.
Yep, so does Max. And Max has Ethiopian archers. And he will advance to the next stage now. And he'll get the extra food and extra gold when he hits. Oh, God, there's a hole in Mateus's walls. Of course there is.
Oh, jeez.
It's not as bad as it could have been. He did a good job running that villager away. And he'll get to that new TC. And he's also sending knights to Max. Let's see.
Yeah, is there a hole in Max's walls? I don't think so.
Nope.
Don't throw this army away, Mateus.
Yeah, that's not good. Giving away free HP. And, ooh, Zupi's doing a lot of damage. He has +2. Look at the dead bodies here. He killed way more than I expected. Mateus, he sent his wave of knights forward. He's knocking on the door at Max's base, but he didn't get in, and now he's getting destroyed at home. And Zupi with some fantastic micro this game, 25 kills and 9 deaths. And he has a boom going at home. He's already on 2 TCs. It's almost on Spring now. Spring needs to use these crossbows because he does have more than Max. It's almost on him to get a huge ball and get an advantage on Max's side, because certainly on Zupi and Mateus' side, Mateus is behind. It's going to be tough.
That one hole just cost him so much there.
Yeah. And honestly, that's not something that should happen. I know that it's more difficult to follow and see the holes, but at this level, players should be clicking beyond the walls to see if there's a hole and plugging the gap, especially when you leave yourself exposed like that.
Spring better be careful not to go in here, because Max is getting crossbow and bodkin, and yeah, Spring's out of there.
Yeah.
As soon as he saw that army, he just noped right back to his base.
I'd like to see him get that hill, just patrol on the hill next to the gold, and then wait for Mateus to show up. Now, Max, oh my goodness, these are going to be some powerful crossbows. He's getting Thumb Ring right off the bat, probably
and
followed by,
the
down. University for ballistics. Whew, man. This is going to be tough for Spring.
Spring has a lot, though. Spring has a lot more military than Max. Look at that number.
Yeah. 46.
It's insane.
He is more military than Vils.
That's insanity. What the hell, man?
Yeah, Mateus needs to get out of here, man. He needs to wait for Spring. Spring needs to get Thumbring as well, I think. Especially if you're up against Ethiopian crossbows, you want to get Thumbring anyway.
He's trying to hammer that university down.
Yep. And
I think Matthias almost has to draw them in, and Spring has to surprise them with the amount of crossbows that he has.
But Finland, they're pretty comfortable with this. Look at the Vil lead. Zupi has 67 Vils, and Mateus has 49, so they know that they don't necessarily need to win fights. They need to just protect themselves at home. So it definitely is on Heresy to push forward. And maybe this is the hill where Max and Zupi will park and hold, or now they seem to be going back because of the amount of numbers Spring has.
Yep, and ballistics coming in for both players.
Yeah. And also keep in mind Mateus gets Camel. So with heavy Camel, he could kill the Frank Paladin in late game.
Yep.
Alright, so they go back to this hill, which is a better hill. And these knights are going to get destroyed. They can't run up that hill, man. Look how fast these things fire. Look at the difference. I don't see how they can push that hill. It's going to be tough. They need a lot of upgrades quickly. Maybe, would you go for a Mangonel here, Dave? Just to hope you could get a shot off?
No, it's too exposed.
Yeah.
It's too, like, if it was right near his base, sure, but it's in the middle of the map, and all they have to do is send one knight over.
Yeah.
And there goes your investment.
Spring is getting Thumbring now.
Cav archers too coming out. If Spring, that's the one potential game changer for me here. If Spring can find a hole somewhere and get him with Cav archers, like this map is so open, he could decimate an eco.
And for those that don't know Spring, Spring is very good with mobile units. In fact, Melkor and Spring, they prefer their knights over their foot archers. So Spring's in a good situation if he can get to 20 to 30 Cav archers. And here they are on the move now. Finland is chasing them. I'm just trying to follow the action here.
They've got to put pressure on Finland. Finland's way too far ahead in the boom.
I'm pretty sure Zupi will castle at home soon, just to protect himself.
And Zupi is into Matthias's base again with some knights, but here comes the big fight in the middle. Out of position from Matthias.
Oh god, this is so bad for them. Oh my god, this is going to be complete domination for Finland. Zupi has the hill.
Spring's doing a really good job with his crossbows to not get surrounded. Matthias is trying to clean up the knights. It might not be domination, like you said. It might be a fairly even fight. We'll see.
Oh, Spring has to micro. I just keep thinking about the fact that Max's Civ has faster firing crossbows, and look how many knights survive for Zupi. Spring's going to lose his army. That is not what they needed, but as you said, Dave, it was kind of the time where they needed to take the fight.
Yeah.
If they sat on the hill, then they probably would be in trouble anyway because of how bad Feudal Age was for them.
Spring tried to make that work. There were two reasons. Matthias was out of position, and they were too close to Zupi's base there.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Zupi could reinforce easily, and Matthias just wasn't protecting Spring. And here goes Max up to Imperial Age.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. It's looking good for Finland in game number 2. In game number 1, they were surprised by this Heresy team. But now they're in a commanding lead, both in economy and military. And soon, with the age they will be in. So, I don't even know if there is a way back now for the Heresy team, because I'm comparing the eco of Mateus. He's at 70 Vils. It's 100 for Zupi.
Yeah.
And now, of course, there's a 2v1. Mateus, he had his golds forward. He has to leave that. It does not get any better for him.
The only way Matthias could defend against this is a castle, which he's not getting anytime soon. Yeah,
man. And Zupi, he'll be building castles soon. Those cheap Frank castles are so good. Because he knows surprises might be coming, Cav archers might be coming, and he'll start castling at home. But look at Max on the other side. Look at all those crossbows just patrolling into Spring's house. I think the GG will come in shortly, because once Max is an imp, they have no response to this. On both sides, they have no response to it. Dave, did you happen to watch game 1 at all? Okay, Dave, I can't hear you. Maybe Dave is crying about the result here. For those that didn't see game 1 was surprising to me. Heresy played extremely well. This map was definitely more open. And Finland probably getting the result that people expected. This happens every once in a while. Dave's mic just stops working or something. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. I can do this. So Max hits the Imperial Age. Bracer, Arbalest, Chemistry. And Zupi's going to hit next. There's just no way. And there's the GG, okay. I was going to say, that there's just no way they can come back. That came down to, in my opinion, the strategy choice from the USA players. They both went for scouts, and then Spring tried to transition into archers, but it didn't really suit his eco. He was behind a Castle Age, and the first wave of scouts was good from both of them. However, Spring created more scouts, and I feel like maybe at that point he should have transitioned to archers. The 5 or 6 extra scouts he created might have cost him the uptime. However, you also have to consider... Okay, I think I heard you again, Dave. You also have to consider that wood line. He tried to wall out the man-at-arms. Maybe if you go immediately into archers and not scouts, that's not an issue for you. Not too sure, but if you would have paid a bit closer attention to that, maybe it would have saved those vills. There's the KD, Zupi. Complete domination. Look at the eco for Zupi. Look at the food and gold difference. And look at the KD. It would have only gotten better for him as that game went on. And we're going to move on to Game 3. Game 3 will be on the map Sahara. Sweet. Yo, Dave, you good, man? I can't hear you if you're talking. So...
No, sorry, my internet went out for a
Oh,
second
okay,
there.
I got you. Sweet.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if
No,
it was one of those situations where you were responding to me and like giving your input and nobody could hear you.
No, it was weird because the game kept running and like I was shouting at you and then you weren't saying anything back at me.
Exactly. I've been there before. Hey T90, give us a few more seconds when you were switching through different stats. Yeah, I can do that. Sorry, man. Yeah, I'll have to do that again for the next game. I have no way of bringing it up now. My bad. Adrian, thank you for the 100 bits. Kath, what's up? Thank you for the 14 months. Potato King, thank you for the brand new sub. Chosen Potato. Look at that, all the potatoes. Thank you guys for the new subs. And Rodire, thank you for 5.
You're a potato.
You're a potato, man. But are you the chosen potato? That's the real question.
Idiot.
We haven't done that in a long time. That's coming back. That's coming back.
Man, idiot.
Dave and I for...
That was like a good half a year.
Yeah, for a good half a
all
year,
the
we'd
time.
just be like, idiot all the time.
Idiot.
Vault Dweller, thank you for a whole year now at tier 3. Chat, that is crazy. Thank you, dude. Seriously.
Man, that's a lot of cash there, dude.
That's a long time. He is a vault, man. He is a vault.
You can't say it's a lot of money.
It is.
That's a long time.
$25 sub. That's
dedication.
yeah. I mean, that's crazy. SEO, thank you for 14, man. Welcome back, Mandred. Thank you for 10. Said he's currently going through finals. All right, man. Glad I can help you out.
Finals.
I guess so.
It's
I
September.
know this isn't really the time where people go through finals, but
Is it like some sort of other like baseball final, fantasy league finals?
maybe that's it. We'll have to tell
Something
us.
like that. Probably.
Really glad you could get here for the games today, man. We're gonna have Frantic versus AM after this, so we have one more game. This is a best of 3, and Frantic.
I thought it was.
Go
I
ahead.
thought you were casting on Escape.
Oh no.
And I was like, that's why I said I couldn't,
Yeah.
because there's so much like preparation and pressure and all that other nonsense. But your channel, you just hop in whenever you want.
Yeah,
and, like,
exactly. I make it
do
pretty
whatever you
easy.
want.
I make it pretty easy for Dave. If it's anyone else, I want to know when they want to do it, what time, what their plan will be. But with Dave, I'm like, yeah, man, just show up.
If you told me that, I'd just never come on.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I had to change my whole style for you. Oh, man. I'm just kidding.
It's like the people from Escape, more like Robo. Every time he messages me, I just feel bad because I just never respond. He's like asking for my schedule. You know how it is,
Yeah,
right? I
yeah.
just like I see it once and I mean to, but I just don't.
Robo's insane, man. Robo is going
Yeah,
to
he
be
does
up.
so much.
Yeah, Robo, for those that don't know, Robo's been doing this for years. He'll admin multiple tournaments. He subscribes to pretty much every Age of Empires stream. He works his day job and does the admin thing on top of it, which he's, for the most part, not paid for. And he lives in Australia as well. So currently for him, it's let's see, let me do my Robo calculator. It's 1:22. Wait, this is confusing.
Yeah, it's something.
I think it's 1 a.m. for him. Yeah, it's 1 a.m. for him. And he's going to stay up all through the night for this. And he does this on a regular basis. Robo is pretty insane.
And he's an organ donor. So
And he's an organ. Jeez. See, I don't know if I would want those organs. He puts his body through a lot for this. I feel like that organ might not be the highest quality.
more like organ gun.
Idiot. All right. All right, guys. Welcome. Welcome to game number 3. This is between Heresy and Suomi. And this is, well, not for all the marbles, but this is the quarters, and it's important if you want to get to the semis. We have the Max in the teal. He's playing as the Britons. And we have his ally, Zupi, who is playing as the Malians in the blue. And up against Zupi yet again, we have Mateus. Mateus is playing as the Indians. And then we have Spring, who is playing as the Ethiopians. So we have a non-mirror matchup, different civilizations. The map here is Sahara. And the best way I can explain it for those that might just be listening is it's like Arabia, though it's slightly more open, and then it has that gold rush aspect where there are golds and resources in the center of the map that you'll want to secure. And with me, I have Dave. We haven't casted a lot of these maps together, if at all. So what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's pretty much like Gold Rush, except you don't need to control the middle of the map.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same sort of terrain style. Another open map, but this one has more walling options than the last time.
Yeah, wood lines are definitely going to be a bit easier to wall off, so might not see as many mistakes. I'm just looking at the golds in the center. There's this one hill in between the two Americans, which could be useful for them. There's golds and stones there, so if they could maybe TC or castle that area, they'll get a few extra piles, which would be very good for them.
Also, weird positionings on like where Spring kind of
Yeah.
where his TC ended up.
You're right.
It's like Matthias is just out of the way, and Spring is like within the direct firing line of both enemies.
Yeah. And I guess on the plus side for him, he does have that back gold. That hill will be awkward, but still, that's wallable. And there's also a secondary gold near the edge of the map by the relic. So if he had a map like this and his gold was forward, that would be awful. But this is still very good for him, I'd say. Spring has Ethiopians, and he'll be versus Max, who has Britons. So we have two very good archer civs. Max had Ethiopians in the last game. It showed what the faster firing speed can do. Maybe this time he'll try and use that range to outrange the Ethiopian archers. That'll be fun to look at. Then we have Indians versus Malians on the other side. So we know how strong Indians can be with their camels. Malians can go knights and camels. I think the toughest side for Finland's Dave will be the left side, because it's tough to deal with Mateus when he has knights and Indians, or knights and camels, sorry.
Especially once you get later in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Like to counter the Imperial camels, Malians probably need the Gebettos probably to handle those.
Yeah. Yeah, we will see where it goes. Back to Spring's positioning for a second. Spring and Mateus are very close to one another. So, theoretically, that could really help them when they try and team up, or if they need to try and reinforce and save each other. But also, I think that securing the corner for trade is going to be a lot more difficult for the American players. They can get the southern corner, But to get the right corner, that's a long distance to travel, and that's a lot to secure. And they're not going to get the corner by Zupi. So Zupi can easily take that left corner and then the northern corner for trade. There's some things to think about.
So is Spring going for... He's got one villager out on gold. Is he going to go man-at-arms, or is he going for a drush here?
He did drush in game 1, and he caught Max off guard. Max was trying to wall off at that time.
He's going for a drush. He's going for a drush.
Huh.
That's...
Weird.
That's something.
I mean... It is definitely something. It is definitely something. See, the problem I have with this is it's quite late. He's already at 20 villagers. So at this point, you'd be clicking up or close to it.
Oh, I have a prediction here.
Okay.
Spring is going to be the literal punching bag of this game because Matthias just full walled.
Oh.
And Spring is going to rush.
I see.
And Spring is close to both enemies.
I see. Yeah, so Spring, he's going to be the distraction. And Mateus is not going for scouts like Zupi will do. He's just going to full wall. And guys, if you're playing a 2v2 and you full wall and make 0 military, your ally's going to feel it. So at least make sure he has a heads up.
You know, Spring might go man-at-arms because with Ethiopians, you get the 100 gold, 100 food when you advance to the next stage.
I think he's going to wall. And I guess it depends how much HP he has left. Max has responded to this with 0 scouting, so I guess he just chose to go for the same strat. Drush into walls. The walls are slightly easier for Max, though, Dave. Look at those walls coming up. That'll be good for him. But Zupi will have scouts, and if Spring can wall up a little bit, he won't be able to get past the walls. But Spring, you really got to commit to this, guys. You can't just wall the front. You have to wall your whole base. And there we go. There are the walls. That's what I want to see. Not pretty, but it's what you got to do. Interesting that Spring has now clicked up, though. I thought that he would stay in the Dark Age for a bit longer.
No, I think he wants those man-at-arms, dude.
Maybe, yeah. Could also go for a few archery ranges as well. So it's really down to if Mateus will be able to pressure an early Castle Age now. And will Zupi, with his scouts, be able to pressure before that?
Good teamwork from Finland using the scout from Zupi as well.
Yep.
To help Max chase. And now Matthias is over here. And Spring is just avoiding the fight until he gets to Feudal Age. Or he's just drawing them away until he can build up enough archers.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Spring lost some of his scout HP earlier. I did see him attacking one of Max's vills. He probably won't upgrade to man-at-arms now because Zupi's sending over another scout.
Too many units.
Yeah. Oh, Spring didn't have
have
loom.
loom! Oh my god!
Woo! Good thing he walled.
That's why he went up early. Wow.
Yeah, that was just a disaster waiting to happen.
That was just, that's why he was dragging the army away.
Yeah.
And running away from his base. He didn't want them to get in.
Yeah, I definitely think Spring was going for Drushvast Castle. And you look at his resources now, of course he gets the plus 100 food, plus 100 gold. He probably should have waited a little bit more before he clicked up because he is lacking the res.
He's not that far away, though.
Yeah, but look at Max. Actually, look at Max. It's pretty close, I guess.
Looking at Max.
Sometimes I just go out on a limb. I think I'm going to be right, and I start speaking before I check. So, yeah, Spring and Max are pretty close.
Yeah. That's such an underrated bonus in my eyes, the Ethiopian 100 food, 100 gold. It's like, and you forget about it half the time when you're playing them, and you're in the next stage, you're like, oh!
Yep.
That's nice.
So
it's like finding $5 in the sofa.
Yeah, kind of. I would say maybe like 10. $5.
Sofa bonus.
$5, you're like, eh. $10, ooh, man, I could buy something real with this.
Mr. 800 subscribers, all right.
I have expensive tastes, okay? $5 just doesn't do it for me anymore. It's only $10. So what's interesting here is it's just one stable for Mateus. He will go for camels. And I don't think he's going to all in this. I think he's going to add TCs. And Indians not only are hard to deal with their military, but that villager bonus just gets better and better. Every time you hit the next stage, your villagers get cheaper. So Zupi hasn't done enough with his scout stave. So this could really work. Zupi's still in feudal age. Okay, he clicks up now. But that's a pretty big difference in times.
I'm just amazed at the amount of walling that is going on here. Like, and you see the difference. There's one player that stands out here with their walls.
Spring.
And that's Spring. Completely isolated in his little like his little olive of base.
These
Everyone
are.
else has tons of room.
They didn't have the budget. They didn't have the time. So they had to go for some pretty weak walls. To be fair, though, if you went for more aggressive walls, you would have had to wall a lot more than anyone else. So, but I do think that his failed drush had something to do with it as well. He probably would have felt more secure if his drush was forward, and then he could have walled more. Max is going with 2 range archers that will be crossbows, and Spring is going with, well, he's adding his 2nd range now, but it's just 1 range, and he's behind in numbers.
It's interesting for Spring because he doesn't have the stone to drop TCs. He put that tower down. So does he go for a 1 TC strat, or he's got a lot of farms here, more than enough to.
Yeah, I think he'll stay 1 TC for a while. It's a good prediction. I think Max will add TCs, and we probably will see more aggression from Spring. That tower for me. Oh, he's adding the market now, Dave. That tower for me is pretty bad actually, because he didn't need it. He had the walls, and he was just thinking, oh, he'll be going archers. I want to play it safe, but I really think you need to scout and know where that army is before you build the tower. But let's see. Max and Spring are meeting on the hill, and Max is destroying him.
No.
There's actually a pause at that moment, and Spring said, hotkey, thank you, ready. So maybe he had a hotkey issue.
Convenient excuse.
I know. It's good timing. He's like, wait, people are going to be watching this? Yeah, I had a hotkey issue. So here come the knights from Zupi, and the camels from Mateus are out and about. And Mateus does have the Vil lead, as expected. So this is not great for Spring, and I'd say not great for his team as a whole, because Spring is going to be behind. However, Mateus could carry this one.
Yeah, Indians are a pretty strong pick.
I think mid to late Castle Age, as Mateus throws away a camel, they need to have some real momentum because of the trade, Dave. If they don't make military numbers and try and advance to Imperial Age too fast, I think they could be overrun, and they'll never be able to get their markets up in the corners to add trade. Or get the golds in the center.
Here we go. Here's the first engagement. Not enough crossbows from Spring at the moment.
And these are Indian camels, but I've seen Mateus lose 2 of them already. They don't have bloodlines. It's just not enough. And these are Britain crossbows. Look at the KD. 8 kills, 4 deaths for Max. And Zupi has 3 kills, 3 deaths. But of course, he probably lost a few scouts. Oof. And the TC from Spring. That's actually perfect timing to protect his villagers. But still, it's idle time that his opponent doesn't have. And he's making a siege workshop. So that's not a good sign. If you're making a siege workshop 21 minutes in, you know that you're behind.
3rd TC coming down from Matthias now. Zupi already on 3. So they're going to be fairly even with economy. And now Spring's losing more vills. Oof.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this is played out. So definitely, so far, the faster castle for Mateus, which would put pressure on Spring, did not pay off. And Mateus loses another camel.
He's lost like 3 now.
Yeah, 3 for free. And with the hill there, they can't push up this hill. They almost need a Mangonel shot. Let me look at Max's base for a second. Max is on 3 TCs. He's in such a good situation, man. He has more fills than Spring. Spring is only on 2 TCs. Yeah, they need a really good fight. And I think they need a little bit of luck on their side, too.
They keep getting housed, too, both of them.
Which is weird, because it's the 3rd game they played. I could see that in the first game, like if you didn't practice or something. But maybe it's pressure. They won game 1. I didn't expect them to win it in that fashion. It was a sick game. Game 2, they got wiped up, and maybe they're really feeling the heat right now.
So here comes Max and Zoopy. They're gonna try and pressure Matthias. This could go really wrong for them.
Yeah, and they don't know about this. And here come the crossbows. 2 Vils will die, and they're completely out of position. It's gonna be 3 Vils, and now they have to send all of their army back. Spring has that Mangonel on the hill. It's like,
don't let him in the gate.
Where do I go? Whew. Palisade gates just melt, man. And this is just getting worse and worse for them now. And Zoopy has a slight Vil lead over Mateus now. They need Mangonels, because it can't be the camels. Or maybe it can be the camels.
The Mangonels are coming, man.
Yeah.
And Max and Zoopy realize the danger there.
Yep.
And they're getting out of there real quick, but they could still get trapped.
Yeah.
They could still have all of their military wiped up here if they're not careful.
The camels do have that extra armor. And they weren't upgraded in the past. Now they have bloodlines with all the defense upgrades. So it is good for the Finland players that they took good trades before all those upgrades came in. Do not underestimate Indians. It's probably what they're saying as they back up. But really wise of them to back up, Dave. Because how many people would stay there? Because they were doing good. How many people would stay there and then get caught out?
I've seen so many teams. Oh, as Zoopy tries to get the Mangonels, he does get one.
Yeah, gets one.
I've seen so many teams go into that base.
Yeah.
And a similar base and sit under a TC like that, and then just get demolished. But they knew right away they had to get out of there.
Oh man, Mateus loses 2 more villagers. It's just the small things, taking small advantages. Look at that KD. This didn't all happen in one fight. It's just a bunch of little moments. And there's about to be a big fight coming, though. This is going to be a big moment.
I think Finland will just keep retreating,
yeah,
to be honest. Or camp that hill.
Oh, the split? You totally jinxed that, Dave. He ran forward the second you said retreat. But it was a good split from Max to save his crossbows.
And he's got the Britain crossbows, too, so he can play around with that Mangonel a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the Mangonel will be a huge factor here. Probably a 10% chance that will land a big shot, but that 10% chance is a chance that you need to take, I think. Because Spring has 62 Vils versus 75 of Max. Mateus is on the way to Imp first, though.
Mateus also even on Villagers with Zoopy, so...
Yeah, and it's so much easier for him to get upgrades, because when he's creating Vils, it's much cheaper here.
He's got to make sure he doesn't lose all his camels in Castle Age.
Yeah, for sure. He has a lot of weak ones. This is the moment, though. This is the positioning that I said late Castle Age the Heresy team would need, and this has been a decent engagement. A few knights going down for Zoopy. I love how Spring has kept that Mangonel alive.
You got to go back if you're Heresy. You got to go back, man. You can't fight here.
Or you just dance for a very long time and hope you don't mess up, right? Yeah, I think you got to go back for sure. And Zoopy knows that he's going to chase a little bit. Max has 43 Britain crossbows, Dave. And after he finishes these villagers, this batch of villagers, he will click up to Imp. So that's going to be tough to deal with, too. They almost need to fight before they're upgraded.
Oh, one scout from Zoopy is wrecking villagers from Spring. Trying to make a TC.
What?
It's been sitting there forever and Spring didn't see it. Oh,
dude,
no.
You just know if Spring was streaming this, he'd be raging so hard right now.
Oh, my God. It's fully upgraded, too.
Can you do your best impression of Spring's response to seeing that scout?
What?
That's spot on. For those that have never heard Spring, that is spot on. Well done. Alright, so the crossbows are on the hill for Spring. The camels are on the hill for Mateus. And heavy camel and plate barding is on the way. So I think after that upgrade comes in, they need to fight.
Yeah, Finland won't fight them, though.
I know.
They won't.
Yeah, they won't fight them. They'll go back. I love the castle on the hill. Yeah. So there will be 2 Finland players in the Imperial Age Spring. What about him? Dude, it's not looking good. It is not looking good. He doesn't
Look
have
at
as
the
many
walls
vills.
coming down around the castle too from Zupi. The foresight there.
Yeah.
And he's built them one tile away so that the Max can hide his archers in between the castle and the wall.
No way. Will Max do that here? He will! That's such good thinking! That's the most impressive thing I've seen all day today, honestly.
It's sick.
That is
such
really
a good
smart.
play.
That was intentional. And there's no way that Mateus can fight that now. So he has to go towards the base of Zupi. Now, I do see Zupi has a few barracks. Remember we were talking about what Malians could do here. Not much. I think you gotta stay with camels for now. You can't really go pikes.
Imperial camels, so they're gonna blitzkrieg the base as Zupi and Max camp that hill. They want nothing to do with that hill.
These things will essentially be paladins. So if they get in, if there's one single hole, Zupi could lose all of his eco.
And he's sending some towards Max as well. Just seeing if there's any holes over there.
All right, and keep in mind, Max just hit Imp. Max is getting his upgrades. And Max will now send his Arbalest towards the hill next to Mateus where he doesn't have the numbers. But the camels are in. They are in to Zupi's base. Zupi has no help. Max has gone forward. This is a risk. This is a risk, but I think it's a risk you gotta take if you are, if you're USA. And look, Max is coming back, Dave. Max knows it's a problem.
Yep. They're going to wait for the heavy camel upgrade from Zupi and all those knights outside there. Not going up to Cavalier, but he's losing a lot of vills.
Lots of villagers. He doesn't have resources, really. Now, he has the knights and camels behind, and the units could get trapped.
Max is trying to come forward with the castle on Spring, but Spring is denying this right now.
He's still in Castle Age, guys, so he will need some more camels from Mateus, but here they come. The Imperial camels are on the way. Will Zupi and Max be able to kill the camels and crossbows from Spring in Zupi's base? Zupi is gating up here.
Zupi is dying, man. He's dying, and they're coming in with all this army, but he's already lost so much.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think Max can get that castle up. With the amount of camels that Mateus is sending this way, this is crazy.
And even this fight in Zupi's base, it's going to cost them some units to take this out. Like, they've got him trapped, but they can hang on there for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and immediately after this, I will say there will be a big pushback because Zupi will keep most of his Cavalier alive. Nice positioning from Max's Arbs. Spring just needs to hit Imp if possible. Max is stabilizing back at his base, but look at this. He's forced to garrison his Arbs into his castle. These Indian camels, man, so strong.
And he's getting coinage as well, so he's going to think about slinging Zupi.
Yeah, which we saw in Game 1, and in Game 1, the Finland players could not come back. But I'd still say they have a slight lead because Spring... Oh my god! Dave, look at Spring's upgrades. Horse collar.
Yes, my boy!
40-minute horse collar. No, that's so bad.
And Bosa.
And Bosa. Horse collar's the feudal age farm upgrade.
Oh, quick walls from Max. Indian camels ain't going nowhere, son.
Whew.
He was almost in there.
That is tough to see, man. The Heresy sponsor out there is probably shaking his head. Like, no.
All right, so here comes the pushback. Zupi and the Max both heading across the map. And there's a lot of Imperial camels, so maybe they can stop this pushback before it even begins.
Just remember the corners. You see Spring's market already? Remember the corners. They need to hold both sides, and now there's pressure on Mateus to fight Zupi and Max. He has to fight both sides. Spring, no wonder he's having food problems. He rebuilt a ton of farms way too early because of the lack of horsepower. He still hasn't clicked up.
Camel's going into the same location again. If he gets to the left side of Zupi's base, all the eco he's rebuilt will probably die. But here comes the Cavaliers from Zupi at the same time into Spring's base.
Yeah. But Spring is building a really smart castle. I'll get more vills on it, man. Calculate.
Three's enough.
Yeah. Dude, look how many farms he's adding. He knows. Horse collar is a great upgrade. He will lose his castle on the hill, though.
Again! right in.
Oh my goodness. Max is getting Warwolf. How often do you see that? Zoopy, he needs some help. He needs some arbs, which are very slow. Here comes Max. You see the walls now for Finland. Zoopy, he has less population than Spring. Wow, man. But look at Spring's base. Spring is in trouble. Mateus needs to get here fast. And Max has the hill with multiple castles. And he's pushing with the Trebs now. Still, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Finland, they have the lead. But it is mainly because of Max.
I mean, if they manage to wipe up Zoopy's base on the left, they could even take that corner and start trading there instead of trading on the right.
Well, if they put Zoopy in Spring's position, then it's just a 1v1. Britons versus Indians. But why on earth are they letting those villas? Look at those ballsy villas back on gold. Why are they letting them live? There we go. Finish him off.
Look at Zoopy while his base is being destroyed. Typical Finland trying to wall half the map for the trade.
Yep.
Love it.
And again, the corners are not secured. And look where Zoopy's going. He sees the trade. He's going towards that market. There will not be trade for Heresy.
Well, I mean, there is, because
there's a little bit. Yeah.
He's producing a lot of trade. 4 markets getting trade cards.
Yeah, but my point is that will all just be a waste of resources if Zoopy focuses them down. Also, if the markets are killed off. But Spring is trying to defend as much as possible with, again, just some crossbows.
Max and Zoopy trying to trap them again, trying to trap this army, but the Imperial Camels are so strong.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can do it.
Well, there's another layer of the trap now. So, there are some stone walls and houses there, but you're right, it has been a pain trying to kill these things. I know Max has range, but his Arbalests are so slow, he can't catch up.
And he's losing a couple Trebs. He's losing 1 Treb, almost 5 HP.
5 HP.
I mean, they're so strong that Matthias can just toss them into that choke point.
Yep.
Underneath those castles, right into the longbows. If he has enough, he can take the fight.
And normally you would rely on your ally in this case to have the melee, but since Zoopy can't afford to make it... I say he can't afford to make camels, he is. But since he doesn't have as many camels on Max's side, Max is going into Halps, which I think is a good decision.
Heavy plow for Spring?
Yeah.
When is he going to get Imp? When is Spring going to get Imp?
At this point, he's in that cycle where if you stop creating military, you die. If you keep creating military, you'll never hit Imp. That's the problem.
He needs to get up there, man.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to defend that trade line. He's going to try and put a castle down there right as Max comes forward. There's still the Cavaliers over there.
Yo. Look at the camels and the Arbs from Spring, or the crossbows from Spring. They are trapped in here. They are not getting out alive. And the camels for Zoopy, they have +7 now. So that's something. And finally, this army dies. And now Finland's shifting their focus towards that trade line. As Spring and Mateus are trying desperately to hold this. But another castle going up for Max. Finland doesn't have much trade, I will say that. But once Max and Zoopy get their act together in Zoopy's base and come forward, I don't think Mateus can hold the right and the left.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure on him and him alone.
That castle's not going to go down,
No,
Max,
it's not.
I'm sorry.
Not yet. But with halbs and longbows, Max is getting there. I don't think the Indian camels can fight that. That's only if he can get to a big mass of them.
Spring, you have the res. Go up, my friend. You have a market. Sell some food. Go up.
He's rebuilding a castle on that hill that he lost earlier. And they are holding the trade, kind of. Sell some food. The food price has probably already been exhausted, but... You know what? Either Mateus needs to send him gold, which he can't afford to do, or Spring needs to sell. And there we go. He's selling, and he's advancing to Imp. So, Twitch users...
That Warwolf trap shot. Did you see that?
Oh God!
On the right side,
that's
one shot.
Awesome! And I did not see it. I was about to ask for the poggers in the chat for Spring hitting Imp. Woo!
That's a pogger right there. I saw them all die. Oh my God!
And Spring says, "Nice shot, 11." Fair play to him for
But
saying
look
that.
at Max's base. They're just ignoring all the pressure from Finland. They're just going for the economy.
Yeah,
It's
and
happened 3 times now.
and every time Finland has said, well, we can't push forward. We need to go back and deal with this. Whew, man. The villas just melted these camels. What are they getting? 3-shotted? And the funny thing is, I know that we've been talking about Heresy not been able to get trade going, but Finland, despite having the corners, they haven't been able to get their trade going.
Yeah, and like Zupi's economy is 1 raid away from Matthias from being destroyed again.
Yeah.
On the left side, he's trying to push forward now. I think this is a bad idea for Zupi. I don't think he should draw attention over to that area.
Well, he is going for Malian Pikes. Malian Pikes and Camels could maybe do it. As you said, Dave, this is the 3rd time that the Heresy players have gone for this type of raid. I'm surprised they've hung on this long. Looking at the populations, it's dead even.
Yep, and Max trying to go for another ballsy castle in the trade line from Heresy. They cannot allow this to go up.
Look at the trade numbers. 33 trade cards for Mateus and 16 for Spring. The highest for Finland is 5 for Max.
And oh my god, Mateus trying to wall out the pikes as he kills the trebs with villagers. It's not gonna work.
Actually, it could work. It could work.
But now Zupi's here repairing them, so maybe he'll get 1. I don't know.
All of the Imperial Age engagements. Well, I shouldn't say Imperial Age engagements, because my point is that it's just been Mateus and Imp for his team. Spring is finally there. What is he making now? Skirms? The light cab? The camels? Killing more trebs? More of these Warwolf trebs. Max is still trying to get castles up in this trade, man. This one I think he'll get up. What a game we have here. Finland, without trade, still holding on. They are adding trade as we speak. Are they going to the same corner? Oh, they're going with the less efficient route. They're trading from Max's base to the northern corner.
That castle's not gonna go up, but they don't have any siege to take down the other castles.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Mateus's pop, man. I think he's too stretched at the moment. He's too stretched at the moment. Look, he didn't kill the trebs with vills in his base. He only has 90 villagers. He's creating camels, but he's sending them to the right because he needs to help Spring. Spring going only skirmishers will not be enough. And still, I think Finland, somehow, some way, without having the trade numbers.
Yeah, they're stabilizing.
They're stabilizing, and that forward castle now from Zupi, right where that TC used to be.
Oh, jeez. That might be the nail in the coffin right there.
Yeah, and of course Max will finish this castle, and the trade is so close to this.
Man, Spring really...
Not his best game.
Yeah.
Not his best game. From Dark Age onward, I would say, not his best game. It wasn't just one moment, it was a few. But in Game 1, Game 2, he played much better. So, you know, it's about consistency in these best of 3s, best of 5s that we're going to see. And Finland's are a very consistent team. And now you look at the populations. Finland is ahead on every side. And I think with the trade going down now, every advantage that Heresy has is gone, and we even have some watchtowers from Max. He knows what's up. Building some towers. I don't think they can push this back, Heresy.
No, I think it's about 3 minutes until the GG, probably. Once those guard towers go up.
Yeah, I think if it's Game 1, they call it the GG now, but since it's the final game, they'll continue to fight it out. But pretty soon, the lack of gold will hurt them. Look at all the trade dying. Oh my goodness. This is a massacre. And now keep and block printing. Max, he had a really solid game to keep his teammate propped up and to continue to push here. So he decides to convert the camels, I guess. And there's the GG.
Oh, the keeps just went up.
Yup.
Oh, yeah, got him.
Man, what a game. That was a great game. In Castle Age, I didn't think there was much of a chance for Heresy. So credit to them for making it to the hour mark, because those attacks were insane. Zupi lost so many villagers. He lost so many TCs. But also, you have to look at Finland and say, man, they still don't lose games like that? Immediately, Max, he started pushing. He was holding the trade on the right. He was close to it, and then he started slinging resources to Zupi. Zupi still had camels with Farimba somehow, and then Zupi rebounded, and this is all with a lot less trade. But you know what, Dave? I'd like to see the gold collected, because in terms of middle map control, Finland had a lot more, and remember, those gold piles were out there. So I think it's a little bit deceiving, possibly, that trade count, because they were probably collecting some of the natural gold that was still available.
I think Spring could have done a couple, like he should have walled that right corner area way earlier. He never even did it at the end.
Yeah.
Like there's your partner's carrying the game. He's going Imperial Camels. He's slaughtering everything. You just got to secure part of your side so that your partner can have a stable trade route.
I
And
agree.
He didn't have the military and he didn't have the buildings to do that.
Well, there were a couple of things. Remember the tower in Feudal Age? That meant that his boom was going to be behind Max because he couldn't add the TCs. He had one archery range while there were two archery ranges for Max. So I don't know if that had to do with his early advance to Feudal Age, because I was questioning that. But there's certainly something going on there where he just couldn't match up to Max, and he wasn't playing it quite as standard as you would think. With that corner there, it's difficult for him to wall that, I think, because of the distance. But
there was areas where he could have done it in Castle Age before Max like came out with the castles.
yeah.
He could have prevented Max from, like, he could have delayed Max a lot, or just even have more military that works better against the raiding units, right? Like he had nothing against the Cavalier.
Yeah.
No pikes, nothing.
Yeah. And he was definitely the weak point in the team. You can see Spring lost more units than anyone. And look at that KD for Max. He carried for his team big time. And I want to give Mateus a lot of credit. The KD does not tell the whole story there. That was an insane display from him to keep his team in the game. There's the gold difference for those that might be wondering. So Mateus had a lot of trade profit, and Max and Zupi's gold count without trade was still pretty high, I'd say. I think Max stole golds from Spring's side on that hill, because he had 17k gold, almost 18k gold.
Oh no, he did. He stole at least one.
Yeah, at
probably
least
two.
one.
He came out really early with a bunch of outposts to scout it out.
Yeah.
And while Spring was at Zupi's base, he came out and took them.
Yep. Well, here's the technology stats and the society stats. Technology and society is not all that important, and I'll show you the timeline. And that is the end of that best of 3. Coming up next, we are going, I think there's going to be a short break, and then we'll have Frantic and Aftermath. After that, we will have Vietnam Legends and BZK. BZK was formerly called LOS. Okay, so Riot Fire will be playing for them. And then the final set of the day, which is also best of 3, will be SY versus Secret. So a lot of awesome games coming up today.